it was a great pleasure to do that, because if I was a kid watching that picture, the English, as I would have been when I was 5 and I was, older or whatever, and a little bit kind of wanting a hero, I would have made Chaske Spencer my hero. And I think that's kind of all you can ask.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well. That's a lovely background you've got there.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a lovely series you have, and one that really hinges on, the chemistry between the leads that is so intense to watch. How quickly did you know that Emily and Chaske had to be the ones? And what was it that made them right for Cornelia and Eli?
Well, on behalf of Emily, I constructed the scripts just for her, around her, bespoke for her. So it was a suit that was right for her fitting, and I knew that she was comfortable and confident in the expression of the character. For Chaske, we met him for a screen audition, and from a long list, down to, as you do when you're casting, and he walked in. When I met him, he didn't sort of go, oh my gosh, when I saw him, because Eli is so very different when you see him in the picture, I didn't know that Chaske was going to be Eli until he sat down and entered the scene with Emily. And he just suddenly, it was like watching a horseman on a horse who is just brilliant with that horse. He just settled in the saddle. And this role just sprang out of him from the word go. And it was really lucky because the screen test was Emily and I had set it up, and we forgot to switch the lights on. And so when we all looked at it, you couldn't see him. So I had to spend all my time going over to Amazon Studios going, look, guys, no, think of it as a radio play. Just listen to his voice. But that voice, what a voice. And it's true, he just has that fantastic, it speaks all of Eli's quality of being, the determined, strong cinematic hero is present in Eli's physicality. But in his voice, there speaks something of the break in his soul, which I think is very compelling. And it attracts us to our understanding of that relationship. So it was there.
I mean, you have often worked in circles that are either like political intrigue or moral quandaries, but Westerns is a very, specific subset, especially the way that you tackle it with really focusing on the injustices committed against Indigenous communities. Can you talk about what really attracted you to that and how you approach telling it from the perspective of outsiders in what one would consider a Western?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question to unpack, by layers. But the personal layers, I was sent out as a young man out to Montana, and I got an experience there of kind of the last dust, in the rear view of the truck of the Old West. But we also, I used to cut wood for the government, and we used to deliver it, obviously, to people that needed it most because we were doing it for the government. So that took us into native communities frequently, and it was a difficult and salutary lesson about that. So I saw both the positives of the Western from one perspective, and I saw some of the problems of the ramifications, and that remained. I always wanted to make a Western because I loved the genre. And then perhaps one of my favorite pictures was a Martin Ritz Hombre starring Paul Newman. It speaks very, very well and intelligently to issues surrounding representation. 1967 movie, it's a real revisionist Western and very impressive.
Wow.
But even Paul Newman at the time spoke, or afterwards spoke, well, it was an impressive picture, but maybe a Native American might have been better to represent those arguments that his character did. I think he was hard on himself because actually I think the story worked for him in the role he was playing, and he brought it to a wider audience. But it did resonate. And I guess, within my love of the genre, one of the things that's small political P, as it were, in the story, is just to see Chaske Spencer's name above the title, right? Just behind you right now. just behind you.
Yes.
And,
That's true.
like a million times that's happening. There's plenty, let's not be I don't want to overstress it or overpress it, but I think it was significant. And not because it just is representative of issues. I think he, as an actor, inhabits that kind of cinematic heroism that has been traditionally the singular preserve of your Burt Lancasters and your Paul Newmans and your Clint Eastwoods. So, it was a great pleasure to do that, because if I was a kid watching that picture, the English, as I would have been when I was 5 and I was, older or whatever, and a little bit kind of wanting a hero, I would have made Chaske Spencer my hero. And I think that's kind of all you can ask.
I love that. And I'm really enjoying the English so far. I can't wait for everyone to see how fabulous they are and how great your work is.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
And you.
Bye. Bye.